Thank you. His Excellency was not going to run on a UD, on a Jubilee ticket. You know what happened. So we thought to change this conversation, we need a political organization upon which we can change things. Covered is that for the first time, nobody has questioned why many people who are poor, and it has been seen across the country, being discussed by very many people. We realized that in 1963, they had, as early as 2018, he thought about changing the conversation in this country and invited a few of us to think along with him. Those of to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that the DP is not hosting you here because he wants votes. Explain one or two things, then we give the Dons a chance to speak to you about what they wanted to do. And we're glad that you consented to this request. We have a couple of things to do, but and when government is formed, you think you should just be taken from your bedroom and be given something. You must be part of this conversation. The academy. He has worked with the academy. All these blueprints you are seeing, a lot of input has gone in these blueprints from the academic circles. So to the people, you have heard about so many town meetings that have taken place. We have consulted with people, and people have told us what they want. And before we do, you need, where people need a school, government gives a mortuary. Where people probably need a road, a prison is built on that land. So, ladies and gentlemen, the third one, which was great, was about the platform. What are we running on to change Kenya? And one which allowed us very recently to have the likes of ANC, Ford Kenya, the houses out.
If you want to destroy a nation, you do not need an atomic bomb, neither do you need long-range missiles. All you need to do is to lower the quality of education and allow cheating in exams. Because what will happen is very many people will die in the hands, very many patients will die in the hands of such doctors. Very many buildings will collapse in the hands of those kind of engineers. So much will be lost, so much money will be lost in the hands of such economists and accountants. And the whole justice system will collapse in the hands of such judges. He says, if you destroy education, you destroy a nation. And therefore, what you're saying here is very important to us. How we treat our lecturers, what curriculum we run, how it is run, and what it portends for us as a nation is so crucial and so important. And that is why we are going to have a special day as Kenya Kwanza, where we are going to prepare a charter on education. We have so many people working on it at the moment. We have Professor Munavu and many others. Professor Munavu was also my lecturer at the University of Nairobi, and many other people who are making their contribution, working with trade unions, working with all the other organizations, so that we can have an understanding of where we want to go with our education, because that is the one single issue that can influence to a large extent what happens to us. The only gold we have in Kenya is our human capital. And that human capital is shaped by education. The quality of the human capital we can deploy locally, internationally, will be influenced by the kind of education we run, and it will also be influenced by the people who run that sector. At the top of that ladder is you, the lecturers of our universities. At the moment, we must accept that we are living beyond our means. And we need to do something about our future. It is true, debt is other people's money we can use to progress ourselves. But debt is not free. It has to be paid. And let me also tell you that debt must be a last resort. You know, we cannot run away from what we can do to generate our own resources because it is easy to borrow people's money. We don't have the luxury of such shortcuts. First, I want to tell you why we must fix and why bottom-up is very important. Bottom-up is about the millions of young people you have churned out from your institutions. You know, you find your students selling roasting maize and selling on the road. That you didn't teach them to roast maize, but that's what they're doing. So we need to fix the challenge of youth unemployment. When we talk about the bottom, the people right at the bottom are the millions of young people who are jobless. It is not possible for us to continue the theory that we grow the economy and then the economy will create jobs. It's not working. The economy can grow, but it can also grow without creating jobs. And it grows in the hands of a few people. So you have, yes, economic growth, but it's benefiting very few people. We must be clear on which are the areas that we need to invest so that we not only grow the economy, but we also create jobs that will engage the energy, the talent of millions of young people who today don't have opportunity to participate in our economy. There is always a temptation, you know, in all the places where we are. There's always a temptation to keep off and to, you know, maybe say, let the politicians do it and let those others do it. But the greatest act of patriotism as a citizen, the greatest act of patriotism is to mind and to be concerned about the leadership of your country. Everything else will be anchored on the kind of leadership you have in your country. The people who, that's why there is this great saying that the punishment given to people who don't vote is to be ruled by fools. You know? Because if you don't participate, and voting is not the final day. Voting is a process. It starts from very far. It starts from identifying candidates. It goes through listening to the programs of the various candidates and making an informed choice when you go to the ballot.